Good morning. I am Kevin Price. Delighted to be with you. Going to be talking to you about you and your business. Got a lot to talk about on today's program, and I want to get straight to it. I'm really excited to have my good friend, Congressman Steve Stockman, on the program, talking about something that, he was very quick to bring to the attention of his colleagues when, shockingly, the IRS official, former IRS official Lois Lerner's emails somehow disappeared. The Congress demanded those emails, yet somehow they disappeared. Got to wonder how that happened. And I think quite brilliantly, Congressman Stockman said, great, let's get the NSA working on it. I mean, we spend we spend untold amounts of dollars spent on NSA activities to keep an eye on law-abiding citizens by all means. Let's use it to figure out what someone obviously involved in suspicious activities, or at least allegedly involved, got to be careful here, in suspicious activities. Why not use it for that purpose? And, of course, what we're hearing, I think, is crickets from the NSA. But I'm delighted to have Steve Stockman on to talk about it. And, Steve, as always, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me, Kevin. We were talking off air. You know, this request is not a new request. We asked really for these emails over a year ago. So how can you just now, oh, wow, after a year, you know they've been looking at them. After a year, they just say, oh, well, we can't find them now. We looked at them so hard and for so long, they evaporated from our eye power.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Well, you know, it's beyond suspicious. It's laughable. And the thing about it is so interesting is that so few have talked about it in the media. You know, it's only the right-wing media, which I guess includes me, that really seems to be harping on this. I don't know of any national mainstream media that's talked about it. Do you?
No, they don't. In fact, we couldn't get them to report. I mean, if Obama was on the videotape doing some criminal activity, they'd say it was a right-wing conspiracy. I mean, everything out there is always a right-wing conspiracy. They fall on Hillary Clinton's, report, which is, mass right-wing conspiracy. And yet, Obama makes Richard Nixon look like a schoolgirl compared to what he's doing. I mean, this stuff, the Republican administration did this, there would be such uproar. It'd be on the front page of every paper, continuously on the front page of every paper.
Oh, yeah. A Republican administration would not have lasted a year with the Obama record.
No.
The first year of a Republican administration mirroring Obama's, there would have been talk about impeachment. There's
there wouldn't have been talk. They would have done it.
Yeah, it's just really.
The Republicans would have joined in on it too, by the way.
Yep, absolutely. They honestly, clearly don't know who the enemy are. And it's and that's the problem is the get along gang, and the get along gang continues to dominate, and they really don't understand. At some point here, I do want to talk about Eric Cantor for a minute. I'm sure you were as surprised as I was with a $5 million war chest that he got beat, but I think it's indicative of the fact that the tone deafness of the GOP leadership.
Yeah, you heard crickets from Carl Rove when you lost that one.
Yes.
The thing is that the polling, according to his pollster, he was 10 points up. Well, yes. Apparently the pollsters were pretty far gone, and this gives me hope. In light of what happened to me, there's still a chance that people will wake up and fight the bureaucracy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so, and I think it could. I think the fact that people like yourself, because you're not the first one to challenge an establishment leader, gave courage to others to do it, and it gave courage to people that they come out and support these individuals. The thing that's interesting is that my understanding is that the gentleman who beat Cantor raised maybe $200,000, $300,000, against $5 million. I mean, it's
like what we
really
do with
just
Jack Brooks. Remember Jack
you
Brooks?
versus Jack Brooks back in the 90s. Exactly.
Yeah.
Back in 94. It's exactly right. And it just showed that tapping into the passions of the people goes a long, long way. And was really, really effective. And I think, the problem, the challenge you had running, in your primary race here in Texas for U.S. Senate, it's like running for a national office in a good-sized country, not a small country. We're talking a good-sized country to run for statewide office.
He literally won that race with 30,000 votes or something like that. We had, of course, I got 250,000, which was more than actually some Senate candidates in other states did.
Oh yeah, that's a modest price. That's a low price House seat is what 250 grand is. You're talking about running in 36 congressional districts.
Yep.
When you run for U.S. Senate in Texas, I mean it's just mind-boggling if you think about it. And it's really impressive you did as well as you did actually. And
it's kind of funny. I was out in West Texas, and they go, "Cornyn has an opponent." We're in trouble. Even though he has an opponent, it's like this is not good.
This can't bear well. And the reality is, this Cornyn has 8 opponents, 9 opponents.
Yeah, he actually did, but those people kept saying, "Does he have an opponent?" I said, "Yeah, he does."
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I'm glad that a credible candidate ran, and I wish he had different results. But back on the whole,
I always come back though. I'm not worried, huh?
Oh no, we haven't seen the last of Stockman. I know that. I know that's true. So, tell me a little bit about this NSA bill. Are you getting, first of all, other members or any other members saying yes, we need to pressure NSA to do this?
Well, we're getting caught up in the elections to replace Canner, and I'm kind of angry in that he called a snap election. And it's funny because the Boehner was complaining that he only had 30 days for another election, but he only gave us a week. So I'm actually, this is probably news to a lot of people, but I'm actually working when we meet tomorrow to try to get this delayed, because this is designed to help the established candidates in the race to win. And
the speed in which they're hurrying up to replace the majority leader is being done to help. And let me tell you, it's going to be an ominous sign for the future of the GOP if
let's be honest,
the guy wins.
We're picking the speaker. We're not just picking the majority leader. Boehner went out and bought a beach house in Florida. All his lieutenants who help him keep him in power have already, or either have or are going to retire. The likelihood of John Boehner staying there is not. I mean, it's possible, but I don't think it's probable.
Wow, that's interesting. Well,
I mean, think about it. You buying a beach house, huh?
Yeah, but even if it's just majority leader, it's huge, absolutely huge. And every Republican who votes, because this is one time where a Republican member of Congress can say, I wasn't pressured. I actually could vote my conscience, because it's a secret ballot, correct?
Not on speaker, no. But on
on majority leader, which is what they're voting for this week. Yes. That's a secret ballot. And so for once, the excuse we hear over and over again that, it's an existential issue for my power, which I say that's bullcrap. You were elected to represent the people, not amass power. But this is one of the rare times where they have no excuse. And so whoever they choose will really reflect the values of the caucus, I think.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of pressure to comply with leadership, and there's different ways to exercise that pressure. But you're right. And that they can do it. There was a saying somewhere over in Africa that said, "Take the money, but vote your conscience."
Right.
In other words, take their deal, but still vote the right way.
Yeah, but in this case, I mean, how secret are the secret ballots? My understanding, they're very secret for
they're supposed to be, but
majority leader.
Yeah, they're supposed to be, but we'll see. I don't know. Here's another thing: the process can be changed all the time, because we make, the Congress makes the rules for themselves. So technically, they could start changing the rules. And that's another thing I'm kind of worried about, is that the leadership may start changing rules to benefit them. Well, they already did by calling a snap election.
Right, right. How long would it normally have been?
Well,
like
I mean...
Because there is no normal, I guess.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's not stepping down at the end of July, so, I mean, a 1 week election is beyond what way quicker than what you really could need.
Yeah, yeah. So that's obviously a big issue. Do you have any predictions on who ends up winning?
No, I don't, because I haven't been up in D.C. when I'm headed up there now, and as soon as I do that, I'll have a better idea.
Back on the NSA issue, who has reported this? I read about it in the Blaze, and of course I saw something about it late last week, and I saw your press release. I think it was late last week. But who else has reported on this, Steve?
I don't know. I mean, the thing is, people don't know this, but I've sued the president multiple times. I've requested letters of information from him multiple times, and this is the first time it's taken off a little bit. I actually requested for metadata on some other officials, and I got zero. I also asked the administration, which they lied, of course. In the hearing, they said there were no hardened criminals released, into the general public, and now we find out that's not true. We got to realize Obama's released 67,000. I don't mean 6,700, 67,000 criminals that were captured. They're illegal immigrants back into society, and a lot of them are released right here in Houston, and nobody cares about the criminal activity. They're not even allowed to give their criminal record to the local authorities so we can keep an eye on the sexual predators or anything like that. It is an outrage, and that was another letter I wrote to the administration, and I asked for requested information and didn't get it.
Well, and not only that, Eric Holder's trying to get those same sleazebacks the right to vote.
Yeah, and you have now, we're barred from taking pictures of all the kids that are coming across because of the DREAM Act, in which the parents are paying smugglers anywhere between $900 to $18,000 to get the kid across the border. And once they get across, they become American citizens, and they get the full benefits of all the gimmies. And then the next step, it's going to be, well, the kids are here, we got to get their parents, we got to become citizens next. So it is bypassing Congress. So basically the immigration bill hadn't passed, but Obama, in essence, through his policies, had passed it. An immigration policy which is totally detrimental to this country.
What a disaster. What a sobering note to end on. Steve Stockman. Steve, where can people keep track of you these days? Where would you recommend them to check out?
At Steve Works for You, and I do.
Is that 4 the number or FOR?
No, the number 4. You're correct.
Steve Works for You. Is that your Twitter handle as well? Yeah,
that's my Twitter handle. If it's an email, I think you can just send it. You go to our website and you can send me an email.
All right, Congressman Steve Stockman, extended interview. We needed to catch up on some lost time. Can you keep us up to date if anything happens on this Lois Lerner situation? It's incredible.
Well, as soon as Obama, listen, Kevin, as soon as Obama calls me, I will let you know.
Yeah, make me one of the short list of people you call ASAP. Thanks so much, my friend. Congressman Steve Stockman, great friend of the program and great friend of Liberty. Glad to be able to visit with him here on the Lois Lerner situation. I encourage you to contact your member of Congress and tell them to put pressure on the NSA to say that we demand the metadata on the Lois Lerner emails. We demand that. It's been a year since the Congress requested it, and it took them this long to announce, oops, we lost them. I can't imagine this ever happening in a Republican administration. It's shocking. When we come back, much more for you. Do want to remind you, best content here does show up over there, and this is the price of business.